This is an incredibly important election. My name is Danny Porter. I'm the elected district attorney for Gwinnett County, which means that I prosecute serious felony crimes in the Superior Court. I've been doing that for 27 years. I actually started out in 1981 as an assistant district attorney. So I've been doing this job for almost 40 years. I'm running again because there are still things to do. There are still cases to prosecute. There are programs to put into effect. There are things that we need to do so that we can, number one, ensure that victims are properly served and that defendants receive fair justice regardless of their race or national origin. We're coming into an era of criminal justice reform. We're coming into an era of change, and I think the people of Gwinnett County need someone with experience, who knows how to try a case, who knows how to manage a $17 million budget. My opponent doesn't know how to do all those. I think there's a couple of things that I would say to the Korean community as a whole. Is number one is that the American system of justice is designed to help people who are victims of crimes. And my office has a victim witness program that will assist people through the process. And that's one of the reasons why I hired Korean prosecutors, Korean American prosecutors, is they can communicate in the native language. They understand the customs. But the one thing that we find is it seems like the Korean community is reluctant to call the police and if they are the victim of a crime. I don't know where that comes from. And so we see cases where there's been cases of domestic violence and where there have been thefts from businesses where the victim almost comes to us too late, and it's hard for us to help them. So what I would say to the Korean people is that, and to the Korean community is that the system of government here, in terms of the criminal case, is designed to help victims of crimes, and that they should feel confident in coming forward to report a crime, and that they'll be supported throughout that. And that's really my message to the Korean community, is that we take our jobs very seriously. We believe in punishing or seeking sentences to criminal defendants that are fair, but we also support victims, and it's important for us to, for instance, get restitution, get their money back if they've been stolen from. It's important to us, if they're the victim of domestic crime or domestic violence, to make sure that they are referred to the proper agencies that can help them. And so I think the main message is somehow to build confidence in the Korean community that they can come to us and that they can trust us and we can help them. Here in Gwinnett County, we've had a busy year with homicide cases. There have been a number of murders, but we won't have more than 40 or 50 murders in Gwinnett County this year. DeKalb County is already over 100, and Fulton County is over 150. So we have actually had criminals who have been arrested who said, I don't want to be in Gwinnett County. They ask, am I in Gwinnett County? We've actually had cases where people won't come and sell to our undercover officers. They won't sell drugs because they're in Gwinnett County. They want to stay in another county. Mr. Yee is correct. I hadn't been district attorney 2 years, and the chairman of the local Republican Party called me and said, "We think our treasurer just stole $10,000." And if you're going to play politics, this is not the job to do it. So I just prosecuted the case. I've always had the feeling that if I treat everybody equally and I treat everybody the same, then I'll never have to worry about political influence or the good old boy network or anything else. If I think there's enough evidence, I'm going to prosecute it. There's kind of a funny story. I had a friend from high school call me and say that he had been arrested for a traffic violation in Gwinnett County. So I said, "Well, why didn't you call me? I would have helped you with a lawyer. I won't help you with the case, but I'll help you with the lawyer." And he said, "Danny, I asked around, and your reputation is that you would prosecute your own mother." Yeah. And I said, "I won't prosecute my own mother, I promise. But people know that if they call me, if they're victims, I'm going to do everything I can to help them. But if they're in trouble, there's not going to be a lot I'm going to do for them. There's just not going to be a lot. And no one can call me for a personal favor and say, "Oh, I met you here." And I don't believe in that. I think we have to stand above it. This is an incredibly important election.